Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Director Antoine Fuqua and Jake Gyllenhaal first partnered together for 2015's Southpaw. Now they have another intense character study on their hands with The Guilty. It's now in select theaters and will be streaming on Netflix October 1st, and I'm going to talk about it. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies. Jake Gyllenhaal's character Joe Baylor works as a 911 dispatch operator in Los Angeles. The wildfires are burning across California, causing this thick tension in the background for first responders. Now throughout Joe's shift, he's taking personal calls dealing with his soon-to-be ex-wife and some other business. It's evident that Joe's a bit of a hothead. His short-tempered nature comes out in his reaction to the severity of these calls. One of his calls comes from a young woman who seems to have been abducted, and Joe will stop at nothing to help her out despite the resilience that he seems to be getting from his colleagues. The Guilty comes from a script by Nick Pizzolatto, who is the creator of HBO's True Detective, and it's a remake of the 2018 Danish film of the same name. Now, there's a really easy buy-in from the beginning, as Jake Gyllenhaal is always reliable at playing into that burning intensity of his characters. That comes in handy right away with The Guilty, as you're forced to buckle in for this really quick ride. The film is only 90 minutes, and seems to play out in real time. And I appreciate how Antoine Fuqua and Nick Pizzolatto know how to keep this a taut thriller that doesn't overstay its welcome or wear out the audience. The personal and work calls Joe takes reveal a really messy past and this legal trouble that he's currently facing. We're watching Joe unravel before our very eyes thanks to Gyllenhaal's performance. There's an isolation and inner guilt that we see within Joe. The film puts us in Joe's point of view as the camera is always on him taking the calls. We never see who the callers are or what's happening on their end, which then mirrors the position that Joe and other 911 operators find themselves in. It's a really clever technique that pays off quite well. The audience is then asked if Joe is a hero for the extra work that he's doing, or if this is the type of behavior that got Joe in trouble in the first place. He's clearly a character that lets his emotions drive him to some unethical and unprofessional choices. And unless you've seen the Danish film, you probably won't predict the twist and reveal that happens in the final act. It's one of those twists that may or may not turn off people from the rest of the film, and that's all I'm going to reveal about it. Antoine Fuqua makes every second of The Guilty count, which will hopefully, provide audiences a little insight into the world of 911 dispatch operators. It's up to them to really think quick on their feet to make the right decision for their caller that's on the other end. They're then forced to stay objective and follow the rules while balancing that real personal drive within them to help someone else out. The work inevitably has an effect on these operators, and we see how that affects Joe through Gyllenhaal's really terrific performance. I'm giving The Guilty 4 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I got to interview Jake Gyllenhaal and Antoine Fuqua, so you definitely want to check out those interviews. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip, and then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of The Guilty. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.